Okay, welcome back everyone. Yesterday when I left off, I was stripping down these two old batteries, got all the cells out. Today I'm going to start just cleaning them up, cleaning off the old spot welds, inspecting them, see if there's any that have like that where the outer shrink wrap is peeling. Or you can see in one of these, this one here, everything's good on the cell. It had a little bit, it was starting to get a little bit of surface rust on the top, probably underneath the nickel strip. So I'll peel that one off. I'll put a new insulator on the top. So what I'm using for this, I'm gonna have my glasses, I've got my gloves, a knife just in case I have to cut the old shrink wrap off. I have a little Burns-O-Matic butane torch with this is like a heat gun tip, so there's no flame, it's just the heat. I use this for these because these are nice and small. I have a Dremel with like 120 sanding wheel on there just to take the old spot welds off, make it nice and smooth. And then I will be using some Gorilla glue sticks. You can get these on Amazon. But these are the 18650 spacers. So if I'm gonna redo the heat shrink, I'll put a new insulator right around the top there too. I'll show you how that works. And then got some individual 18650 cell heat shrinks here. This is just a multicolor kit. I don't think I have any really reds left in here, but it's just covering up the battery. I mean, I'm not worried about a color. You're not going to see that. All right, let's get started. What I'll do is I'll start with this one here. Oh yeah, I should mention too, I separated the cells yesterday. What I'm gonna do is I can only fit a 6-pole, 13-cell battery in the battery box that I'm installing it in. So I'm kind of limited on my space. I can't go any bigger than 6 cells, just won't fit. So once again, this is just like a spare backup battery. And so yeah, so what I did is I went through all the cells in the old battery, took out the ones that looked the best. Let me show you one of these ones. So I separated all the good cells from the ones that looked, you can see, I don't know if you could see in the camera, but you can see underneath the shrink wrap layer, you can start seeing some coloring there. It's most likely moisture that got in there, starting to corrode the outer shell. So yeah, you can see this one had some rust underneath the nickel plating strip. So I settle them aside. I start with the best cells from each battery. And since I'm doing a 6-cell, the pack that had the larger amount of batteries in there, I think that was like a 10-pole. I separated, I used 4 from each pack. So let me start over here. So out of what I'm building now, the 6 poles, the 6 cells that I'm making one big cell out of, 4 of these cells came from battery A, 2 came from battery B. Battery B had less good cells in there. That one had a little more corrosion. So what I'm doing, I do the same thing for every cell. That way they're even. You know, every cell is the same thing. 4 came from battery A, 2 came from battery B. That keeps everything even. You don't want to do, 6 cells from battery A, because if those cells had a little more capacity and say the cells in battery B had less capacity, you would end up having, say, seven cells with better capacity batteries, and then the last 5 cells would have weaker capacity, so then it wouldn't be charging right. So if you balance it out in each pole, it pretty much, like if these were all 2000, 2000, 2000, and say, for example, out of battery B, they were only capable of 1000 milliamps. You would have 2, 4, 6, 8, and then you'd have 1000, 1000. It would be like 10 amp hour or 10,000 milliamps. If I went and put all the 2000 milliamp cells in one pole from the better battery, I would have a, 6 cell, I would have a 12 amp hour cell, and then at the end, if I, the cells that had the 1,000 milliamps from the weaker battery, I would only have about 6,000 milliamps. So you wouldn't get a good even charge, and it would just give you a lot of problems. So let's get started here. All right, what I'm gonna do, this one here. So I have all my cells grouped up. I'm gonna work on them as that. I'm gonna pretty much get these cleaned up, and I'm gonna pause the video and I'll finish cleaning all the other cells, and then I'll pick back up when I'm ready to start gluing them all together. So let's take this outer wrap off. Sometimes they peel right off, but so you can see the little white insulator on the top. That's sticking on there pretty good. Usually they pop right off here. There we go. You just got to be careful on this part, because on this battery here, that's the positive. This outer case is negative. So if your blade or whatever you're using to take it off touches both, you're going to get a little spark coming out of the top there. All right, I can feel a little bit there from the spot welds. Do real lightly. And on low speed. I got the cells, just do them all real quick. Just want to do it to see the welds are going. You don't want to go in too deep and thin out the top and bottom of the battery. This one had a little piece of nickel strip still in there. Okay. So this one here, I'm going to put a new insulator on here. See, now that covers where the negative is. All right, this is a blue. Like I said, I'm limited on my colors I have left. Slide it over. You put it right in the middle. You have the equal distance hanging off this end as you do this end. Now I start heating up this end so it wraps in and holds the insulator. That's my most important part. Once again, it's just use a little butane torch. Don't get too close. Just slow and steady with heat shrink. You'll see it'll wrap right around on itself. And I'll start working my way down. Okay, like new. Got a new wrap on there, new insulator. They're all cleaned up. Let me see. This one here, a little bit peeled off when I was taking them apart, so I might as well redo this one too. This one, the insulator, oh, other than it pops off. They're not really stick-on like my other ones are, but this is still in good shape. So I'll reuse that insulator. All this stuff here I'm showing here can be bought on Amazon. All the heat shrinks, the insulators, the glue sticks. I will attach links for the individual items. Right in the middle. You can see it pulling tight. You could use anything. I mean, you could use a heat gun if you got one. I mean, I've even used torch with an open flame, but you just got to keep it back so you don't burn it. Okay. All right, so this cell's ready to go. All right, I'm gonna pause the video, get set up. I'm gonna go through, clean up the rest of these groups of 6 that I have. I got 13 cells going in. And once I get into the, when I'm ready to start gluing them together, I'll start it back up there. Okay, I'm back here. So I got the hot gun heating up here, the glue gun. And let me show you this here. Same thing as I did in my first battery building video. I take 4 old cells, I glue them together. This is just my little template. I have a spacer I use, I hold that in there. This just lines me up better, gets an air gap between the batteries, plus it lines me better with the nickel stripping that I'll show you later in the video. It's already preset for the 18650 cells, but it's made when you use the plastic spacers. So it lines up with the centers really well. So I glue 4 of these together. So I'm doing 3 wide, so I do it extra. This way it already has my gap. When I lay the new cells on top, holds them with the gap. I don't have to do this every time. So I just leave this set up right here. I'll lay my first 3 right on top. I got the nice wood backdrop here. I made that all square so it holds them nice and square. You can't see it with the camera, but there's about maybe 1/16 gap. Just over, but all right, so they're lined up. I'm going to glue the tops. Push down, let it cool for a second. Move them gently. That one got a little tighter, so I can use that to fix it. I've built them before using the spacers. I just find for generally what I'm doing, the hot glue, the way I wrap them, they stay tight, they don't break apart. Plus it's going inside another plastic shell. It just gives me flexibility in case I got to change the shape of it. But the spacers are definitely quicker. You just lock them on and no gluing required. This is a 6 pole, but I'm doing 2 rows, so it's 3 by 3 to make a 6 cell. I had to change the layout just to make this work. Let that cool a minute. So I'm going to glue this right up into the group so you can see how it's going to go. Let that set a minute. So it's my first count of 6 here, 6 poles. So when I group this battery up, I'm gonna do, it's gonna be kind of 2 rows. I'll show you later in the video. So for now, I'm gonna do, let's see, I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8. I'm gonna have 8 this direction coming up. And then I had to kind of do this to get all these cells to fit. So I'm gonna have 8 turn just like this. It'll be positive, negative, rotating through. And then my second row, they're gonna be just turned this way, coming this way back. So my starting and ending, or positive and negative, are gonna be at the same points. Generally, I build them straight all the way through, and I have my positive and negative at the opposite ends. But like I said, I couldn't do 6 wide here because it was too tall, so I had to make it longer than tall. So I'm gonna continue gluing. I'll make a bunch of groups of 6, and then when I'm ready to start gluing them together, I'll continue the video on. Okay, we're back here. So I got all my cells glued together in groups of 6 here. You can see I have them all just laid down the end here. So I'm gonna lay them out real quick, how they're gonna go. It's gonna be something like this. So I'm starting right here. It's positive, negative, so on, all the way down the line. I think I'm going one more this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's see if this works out right. I believe I have to start right there. It's going to be something like this. And something like that. So that's going to be the layout. So what I did is it's always positive and negative, right? I'm starting here with positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, and then it's going to jump this way to the positive, negative, positive, negative, positive. So no matter how I weld the tabs, once I glue these together, if this is going to be the positive right here, the back side of this corner underneath is going to be my negative. So it's going to be from the negative. Later we'll talk about it, but when we're wiring the BMS, you go from the negative up. So you start at the negative, the positive is your first cell. So when you have 13 leads, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So 13 is your last cell there. So 13 would be your 48. Negative on the bottom is going to be your 0. So I'm going to kind of slide these out of my way, and I'm going to start gluing them together. I'll glue the row first, and then I'm going to glue this outer row on, but I'm going to work backwards. So I have these all laid out. I won't have to think about what direction they're going to go. So what I'll do is I'll keep this in a straight line. Slide it over here. And I'll slide this one back here. So I'm pretty much going to take my first cell, a little hot glue, just put 3 straight strips. Same thing, when I push it together, I don't jam them together, I leave that same gap I've been following. Let them set, keep pressure down, make sure they're all sitting against your flat top. Next one. Okay, so I'm gonna pause the video now. I'll keep going down. I'll get this row done, and then I'll start back up when I'm doing the second row here. Okay, got the first row. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I want this corner to be flat, so I'm gonna work backwards from this corner. But that's why I laid them out earlier and slid them out of my way. So I can just take it right back in. Add some glue, a couple spots just to strengthen it up a little bit. I usually just do the outer row. Okay, that's pretty it. You can see it lays flat that way. I know it's flat across this way. This way when I'm welding the tabs on here, it keeps it all nice and straight. All right, I'm gonna take a break for now. I think I'm running low on the nickel strips. I should have gotten some more today. I had to order them yesterday when I realized I was getting low. So they should be getting delivered today. As soon as I get that, I'll continue on. That's gonna be my next step in this. It's gonna be welding on all the nickel strips. All right, welcome back. So where I left off last time, I had all this glued together. This step now, I'm gonna start cutting and prepping the nickel welding strips here, nickel plated. So normally I have the double row here. And this works a lot of times when I'm doing the single bays, the single cells for beating through, for going through, because usually it'll be a negative to positive. Where I'm jumping across, I can use that. It's already, you can see it matches right up with the tops of the battery. You don't have all the separate pieces. But I did find I still had some of my old, where I must have been doing a larger battery. I have the triple here. So this will actually work good because this battery, I flipped it over. When I left off last time, it was upside down the other way. So the beginning is my positive corner. It's right here. So I got my negative. This is one cell right here. This is the next positive cell right here. So you can see there's 6. So I need to group these together and combine it as one so that it flows through this way. All right, the next one, same thing on the bottom. All right, it's gonna keep looping through. So my option would have been either do 3 pieces. I'd have to do a piece on this one, piece on this one, and then I'd have to weld down one connecting the 2 cells together. Luckily, I'm going to use up as much as I can until I run out of this. But this 3, you can see that worked perfect. I can make a nice little square, connects that group together, and it jumps across this one while it's doing the same thing. So I'll cut them pretty much in 4 rows here. And then I can set up this whole side here. I can do this. I'm gonna jump across, do this one. It'll jump across, do this to here. And then from there is where I have to kind of group over to this side. So I'm gonna have to start using some pieces for that one. But what I'll do is I'll start cutting some of this, get started there. Basically, I'm gonna cut, I'll prep all these, as many as I need. Really, for this side alone, I need 1, 2, 3, 4. And then for the other side, it's gonna be 5, 6, 7. 7 at least. So I'll get started cutting them. That way we can get going with welding these on. So all I'm using in this, and these, same thing, I will have a link to Amazon for this. This is the triple. But this is most commonly one I used. Just a roll of it, which this is getting light too. Like I said, I have more on the way. I don't know what time it's gonna come. So I'm just gonna do as much as I can until I run out. I have a long pair of shears. It's easy to cut. These I like because I can cut right across it in one swipe. And I'm gonna have some rubbing alcohol and a rag. I like just clean the top, just get oils from my fingers, stuff like that off. Makes it weld down a little better, keeping it clean. So this is actually ready to go, that end. So basically, like I said, it's gonna be a gang of 4. So I'll start cutting these. I'm trying to do this in portions to show you what I'm doing with each step. And then I'll pause it. I'll get as much prepped, trying to save some time on this video here. Trim off the excess. What I'm doing here is I'm just cutting the extra right off the end. And then that's going to be 5, 6, 7. Well, I got enough to get that done. That's 4. And then 5, 6, 7. So there's 7. All right. Still have a piece left. All right, so I'll take care of them. Now, when I do these ones, I can actually use my double row. I'll make something different for this one here, but I am pretty much, let's see, it's negative to positive, negative to positive. So it's the other side I'm going to be jumping over. But on this side here, these will work, because now I can go this way. So I might as well make these. I'm going to make this in 6, because this is a group, this is a group. See, they're just turned. Come on. And they make this strip for the different sizes. You can actually order it for the 21700 too. It's actually the spacing, because they're wider, so your center to center is off. So for whatever kind of battery you're building, 6, they make the right one. One, two, I can cut an extra one here. Yeah, I might actually have enough to do this. 2, 4, 6. Okay, I'm gonna move this over here. All right, I'm gonna pause and change the camera angle, that way I can see it spot welding this on here. Okay, so in this step here, I got my Sunco 709A spot welder. For this battery, since I can't reach into the middle, I'm also gonna use, this comes with a nice pen you can plug in, like this. Gives you a foot pedal. When you're pushing on, you just hit the foot pedal to arc it. When you're using this one, the main style without the pen, it's just spring loaded. When you push up, it makes contact, and that's what arcs. So it's the pressure pushing up. This is these are spring loaded too. Get the right amount of pressure down on it. So I'm gonna see how much I can do with just this first, and then I'll use a pen. I get a better spot weld when I use that. I gotta turn the amperage up a little bit when I'm using the pen. But I just wanted to show you the pen and the pedal. Actually, you know what I'll do? I'll get the centers done first with the pedal, because I like to try that first. I can do it on one cell and pull on it, make sure it's got a good bite on there, because if you got a bad weld, it'll pop off, you know what I mean? So you can adjust from there. Or have some old cells you can try it on, make sure it's grabbing real good. So let me set this up. Let me get this set up and get everything ready to go, and we'll start back up. Okay, so here we go. So once again, here's where I'm starting. This is my negative. This is the first cell. So I'll start doing the triple rows right on. So I just saturated my rag with rubbing alcohol. Clean the top. I'll just do the whole top right now. Okay, so let's give this a shot. All right, I'm gonna turn it on. I'll start with a 7.5 current and do a 12 pulse. All right, so I'm gonna try right here. We're gonna try it. It's gripping good. I can see the strip is actually flexing, but the welds are holding. All right, so I'm gonna hit the center row. Like I said, the area that's hard to get to because I don't have the reach. If this had an extension out, it would make it a lot easier. Try that one too. Good. Man. Keep double tapping it. I'll do that when I go around the outside. That's good. So once again, this was my positive. So when I'm done welding this, it's gonna, remember, series circuit all the way through. So it's traveling right through, traveling this way. So when I flip it over, I'll have a jumper here. So I'm gonna lay out these ones right now, get them done. Now I'm going to use it regular. So I'm doing the area that I can get to with this now. All right, I'm going to pause it there. I'll keep finishing these up. And when I set up for this, I'll start it back up here. Okay, so I got finished that first set of group there. Now, I'm not jumping this way because on this side of the battery, this is where I ended. This is where I have to connect this to this. So that's where I'm going to make, I don't like just having a single strand or a single layer, single row of nickel strip, I should say. So I'm going to do something either double, folded over, or layer up. So for the current flow, I mean, I think I'd have to check again, but I believe each strip, like that's half of this, is roughly good for, I think it was like 12 to 13 amps or something. I was looking it up this morning, but I always try to get as many as I can. Just I don't want a spot where it starts heating up. All right, so this is where I'm going to continue on now, because like I said, it's going this way, jumping across to this cell. So then from the top of this cell is going to carry to here, it goes through this one to here, and then the end will be down on the bottom. So I got one, really two I can put on here now. These are going to be the easy double like this. Get the middle first. I found I can reach in about 2 cells worth. The second row. Hold this differently. All right, I'm going to pause again. I'll get that one on. Same thing as I just did here. Okay, I'm going to start it back up here. So, all right, this side's done here. And you can see I left my negative longer here because I like to, I don't know if you remember when I was taking it apart, I like to solder my leads that are feeding the battery and going out, coming in from the BMS. I like to solder here and not above here. And then when I'm building, I can just fold them down. So that's why I left some slack there if you're wondering. All right, I'm going to pause it, get it flipped over. As soon as I'm about to start back up here. All right. Actually, let me restart. Let me pause it real quick. I gotta grab something. All right, so before I get spot welding, I gotta clean this top here. Got my rubbing alcohol. Wipe the tops. Okay, and then when I'm going to start, this is my positive here. This is my negative down here, right? So this is the beginning of the battery, or the top of the cells, I guess I could say. It's cell 13. So I cut the triple longer. So when I do this, there's my tab to solder my leads. All right, so let's get started here. Okay. All right, so we're going to go right back with these triples. I'll get this one on here. I'll get these tacked on, and then I'm going to have to switch over to the pen, so that's where I'll take a break. Okay, so I can pretty much get both rows. All right, I'm gonna take a break here. I'm gonna finish getting this row down the line, get my pen on, get this in. I'll start it back up when I'm working the end over here. Okay, so here's what we got here. So for this corner, I'm gonna do, this one has to connect to the top of this. So I'm gonna have one for here, and I'll start with this one here. As you can see, this way it connects and then it carries through to here. And then I'm just gonna go, actually, you know what? I think it'll get a better weld. I'm gonna do this group of 6 here, then I'll lay this over top. That way I can fold up and step onto there, kinda. So let's give it a shot here. So I'm gonna turn this around. Here's where you're gonna make sure you have a real good weld, especially if you're stacking. I'm gonna actually turn it up a little bit. Get a little more bite into it. Okay, so now I'm going to take this right here. I'm going to weld this on right like that. So I want to try the end where I have 2 layers first. Make sure that's grabbing good. Yeah, grabbed right on there. I normally try to have the right stripping, so I don't have to do this, whether cutting or trimming or not making corners like this. All right, so I got that for the first part. I'm probably going to go back after I get the rest of these tabs and this thing down. I'm going to add another piece in here. I don't like just having the one coming through here. I want to at least get 1 or 2 more across. I'm going to see if I can get my double to come across, or if not, I'll do a layer from here, kind of right on an angle. Just give it another path to flow. Keep it. I don't want to, like I said, get a hot spot. So I'm going to go and tack on these, and then I'll continue on. Actually, I'm going to finish these with my pen. I'm going to tack the last couple on here, and then I'll just show you when I work the corner here. All right, so everything's tacked on. I'm going to add this one last straight piece of strip right on an angle right here. Just to give me, like I said, a little more connecting. And this is a little thicker than the other ones. So let's give it a shot, see how it welds on there. Like to try it. Yep, it's good. Let me tack it on. Okay, so that's it for the spot welding. Everything's on there. So I'm going to take a break for now. I still didn't get my BMS in time, so I got some things I got to wait for. So when I come back, I'll be getting set up to pretty much wrap it and start getting ready to solder on all the connections. All right, that's it for now.